Imagine moving to a new country, full of vibrant culture and rich history, only to discover that the past holds a dark secret. A secret that whispers through the night, beckoning those who dare to listen. In this story, we'll uncover the chilling tale of an American family living in Okinawa, Japan, and their haunting encounter with a mysterious figure known as the White Witch. Stay with us as we delve into this eerie experience that will leave you questioning the line between the living and the dead. In the early 1980s, a young American boy and his family moved to Okinawa, Japan. His father, a military man, believed that immersing his sons in a foreign culture would broaden their horizons and shape them into better men. And so, they left the familiarity of the base and settled into a small Japanese neighborhood, nestled atop a steep hill. Their new home overlooked a sprawling zoo on one side and a vast, ancient cemetery on the other. The boy and his brother were the only American children in the area, surrounded by Japanese families who welcomed them with open arms. Among their neighbors was an elderly woman they affectionately called Mama-san. She was a kind soul, always ready with green tea and sweet treats, and the boys soon became regular visitors to her lush garden. But there was something unsettling about Mama-san's home. It directly overlooked the eerie cemetery below. This cemetery was unlike any the boy had ever seen. It wasn't a place of simple gravestones, but rather a maze of above-ground crypts built into the island's hillsides. Each crypt was an elaborate structure of polished stone, designed to house the deceased above ground. Stone pathways wound through the crypts, old and crumbling, barely maintained. It was a place steeped in history, and as the boy would soon learn, a place of lingering sorrow. One evening, Mama-san called the boy over to her garden. She wanted to share a story with him, something meant only for the older brother. Intrigued and feeling a sense of responsibility, the boy agreed. She led him to a wooden bench at the back of her garden, its surface carved with intricate scenes of fishermen and warriors. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm orange glow over the landscape, Mama-san began her tale. She spoke of the war, a time when fear and desperation gripped the island. Propaganda had painted the Americans as monsters, and many Japanese civilians, terrified of the approaching troops, chose death over capture. They flung themselves from cliffs, preferring to die by their own hands rather than face the enemy. Among them was a young mother who, in her despair, jumped with her 2 children. But fate was cruel. While her children perished, the mother survived, awakening in a coma months later to the crushing reality that her children were gone, buried somewhere in the cemetery below. Mama-san's voice grew soft, and the boy could feel the weight of her words. The mother's grief was unbearable, and she spent her remaining days searching the cemetery, her cries of pain echoing through the night. Unable to find her children, she eventually threw herself into the ocean, hoping to reunite with them in death. But her soul was not granted peace. Instead, she was condemned to wander the cemetery for eternity, a lost spirit searching for what she could never find. As Mama-san finished her story, the light around them faded, and the cemetery below was swallowed by darkness. She pointed to a distant spot in the graveyard, urging the boy to look. Trembling, he did, and there, among the crypts, he saw it, a white figure, shimmering faintly in the blackness. It moved slowly, almost as if it were drifting, its form shaking as it passed through the crypts. And then, the boy heard it, the soft, mournful cries of a woman, growing louder as the figure drew nearer. Fear gripped the boy, and he wanted to flee, but Mama-san held his hand, whispering that they were safe. The White Witch, as she was called by those who didn't know her story, would never venture up to their home. But that was why the boy and his brother should never go down into the cemetery after dark. The White Witch's anger and sorrow were too great, and it was best to leave her to her endless search. The boy never returned to the cemetery. The fear of encountering the White Witch was too strong, and the memory of her ghostly form haunted him for years. Even when he later visited a place called Peace Prayer Park, a site of remembrance for those who had died in the war, the emotions overwhelmed him. The sorrow of that tragic history, combined with his love for the Japanese people, left a profound mark on his soul. And though many years have passed, the boy, now a man, still wonders if the white which remains in that cemetery, wandering among the graves, forever searching for her lost children. The past has a way of leaving its mark, and some stories linger long after they've been told. The Tale of the White, which is one such story, a haunting reminder of the pain and sorrow that war can bring. As you reflect on this chilling account, remember that some spirits may never find peace. If you ever find yourself in Okinawa, perhaps you'll be brave enough to visit the cemetery after dark. But be warned, for the white, which may still be searching, crying out in the night for the children she lost so long ago.